Organization is an important skill for any job today, especially so if you are a teacher. When I joined this job, I was nowhere close to being prepared for the kind of multitasking that I would have to do. I soon realized that I would have to list down everything that needed to be done, because if it was not written, it would most likely not be done. But as my job became more complex and I took on more responsibilities, I realized just simply listing down things did not cut it for me. I had to figure out a way. In fact, I even had to have a conversation with my program leader, who showed me the importance of a planner. Since then, I started researching more. I saw a lot of YouTube videos. I read a lot of blogs. I observed what my colleagues were doing to be better organized. And over all of these years, I have devised a way that works very well for me. In today's episode of Learn with Amilty, I'm going to share with you how I plan and how I make my life easier. I'm going to be modeling this out for the month of June because just like I take my work seriously, I take my holidays also seriously. This is the only month in my entire planner which has nothing written on it. It's completely empty. So it's perfect for modeling out. The month actually starts with an overview. So it might be a good idea to, at the beginning of the month, to think about what my personal agendas might be for the month, what my work agendas are for the month. Are there anything important to do for the month or any health and wellness related agenda? So I would like to put it here. And it's all right even if I don't know all of this at the beginning of the month. I can come back to it later, somewhere in the middle also. Now this is the most important bit of the planner. Here is where I do most of my planning for the month. And this pen is my best friend because it is a multicolored pen. It has 4 different colors and I use each color to represent something different. For example, the red color could be subject number 1. So I can write subject 1 here. Okay, this is where I put my legend. Now green pen can be for subject number 2. All right, and maybe the blue pen can be for my personal agendas. And the black can be anything miscellaneous that I may not be able to think of. Our school follows a day order calendar, which means I must, as per my calendar, I must mention which date stands for which day order. It just makes my life easier because every day order represents a different timetable for me. So for let's assume this is day order 5. Now Thursday would be day order 6. Friday is a working day, would be day order 1 again because we follow a 6-day cycle. And then let's come to Monday, which is 2, 3, 4, 5 again, and I complete the entire month like this. So this is what I have done, the first thing. Now the next thing that I do is whatever is fixed for the entire month. For example, I could have my dance class every Friday, or I could have be going to gym every Tuesday perhaps. So whatever is fixed, I put that in here first. So let's put Friday errand number 1. Let's put it like that. Errand 1. Every Friday, let's assume I have to run this errand. I put it in my planner like this. Okay. Then I use my subject 1 color and I put it here. So fixed event 1, fixed event sharing, and fixed event 1 again. So it's going to happen every Tuesday, right? So we continue like that, and fixed event sharing. usually most teachers know that what they have to cover in a week's time, in a month's time. So I can, even if my month is not entirely planned, I have a general idea. So let's say in subject 1, I have a plan number 1 ready. I have to take, say I have to do a read aloud, and I have to take submissions. So I write that here very clearly. So I know that by Wednesday, 1st of June, this thing should be done in my class, and then I move on like that. And I know I may be on day 6 order, I have no period of this subject in my class, so then I can leave it empty and know that I won't be able to do anything. So this is where this day order, it helps me. And then I can say plan number 2 here, then plan 3 here, and so on and so forth. And similarly for this next subject, I can do plan 1 here, plan 2, plan 3, and so on. Simultaneously, maybe there's a huge event coming up. Maybe it's a school event, and I know it's going to happen on, say, 16th of June. So I must make a note of it here. Event, huge event. Maybe it's, so I write it like this. Pardon my bad handwriting, please. A huge event I've noticed. So even if it's a day 4, when I will have a class, I know that because of this huge event, I may not be able to do anything. Now, I also put in the important deadlines. Maybe I have to make a plan and I have to give it for review on a certain date. And that date has been set as, say, 22nd of June. So let's put, I will have to put the deadline here. Okay, deadline, plan, submission. Okay, so now that I have a deadline for plan submission on 22nd June of the Wednesday, what I must start doing is I must start backward planning. So I know that if it is a Wednesday, so before Monday ideally I should be ready, but so that I don't work on the weekends, I don't like to work on my weekends, so I would try and put the deadline for myself to here on a Friday, which is finish plan here on 17th June. Okay, and I'm using the same color so that I know which subject I am talking about. Okay, now let's backward plan. So if I have to finish plan here, I know that I'll have to hunt for start my hunt for resources long back. So at least begin resource hunting. Right, start. So I know plan flow, I will have to make plan flow. I'll have to start making here. And I'm now putting all of the things that are related to plan making in a box so that I know that it's different from me taking the plan inside the class. So everything needs to be written differently, but it has to stay consistent also. So I can't write things related to my plan here like this in a box and next make an underline somewhere else. So just putting all of these things down helps me. Now I used to add another thing here because I was reading and I wanted to be consistent with my reading. I would also add something related to reading here. So my black ink would count for miscellaneous, which is reading. So I would mention here, so I have read 10 minutes today, so that's in black. Sometimes I would mention the book also here. Then maybe to this day I was able to read only 5 minutes, so I'll mention 5 minutes. Another day, maybe on Friday, I got more time, so I read for 40 minutes. I'd mention that. Weekends seem when I would get more time to read, I would write another 40 minutes maybe, because that's how much I read. So I would be honest enough to mention how much I actually read, and if I did not do any reading, I would make a note of that also and write 0 minutes so that I can be accountable. So on each day when I have not read anything and I have mentioned 0 minutes, when I look at this planner, I I would feel guilty about it and ensure that I'm accountable for it and start doing that. So this is the major chunk of my planning. This really helps me to sort out my entire month. Along with this planner, there's another really cool thing here. It's called the habit tracker. This is something that not only do I use myself, but I also suggest this to a lot of my students who are trying to bring a discipline into their habits or trying to introduce new habits to themselves. So I would mention habits like, say, reading. I'll mention reading here as habit number 1, or maybe content creation as number 2. It could be anything, maybe exercise is something that I'm not being regular with and I need to be regular with. And every day that I actually do this, I put a tick. Even if I read for 10 minutes or 5 minutes, I would put a tick. That's all right. So I put a tick against 1. So let's check. I did not read on 6th of June, but I managed, and also 5th of June, it was a Sunday. So apart from those 2 days, I read every day. So I can put a tick against 1, 2, 3, and 4. So let's do that. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this is it. And for content creation, I can put a tick on maybe Sundays when I have time. That's when I get time to do that. I did that then, or maybe on a Thursday. Whenever I did it, I put a tick mark against it. So when the bits where there's no tick mark, I know that I need to work harder at it. And somehow, I don't know what the science behind this is. The more tick marks that I see, I feel like spending more time on it. In fact, one of the habits that I used to put here was driving. It's not a habit that I need to track anymore. So it'll be amazing if you can actually remove habits from here. Right? Along with habit trackers, you can also track your budgets here, your daily expenses, amount spent, monthly data. I don't use this as much here. Now let's see what I do every day. Apart from this big planning, I also try my best to write down what I'm doing every hour of the day. This really makes me productive. So I know 1st June is day order 5. So what I do is I mention it here. I mention it's day 5, and as per my timetable, I will have a class here. So I will write subject 1 here. And I know I also have a class here at 12, for example. So that's a green one. So I mentioned the things that are definitely fixed. So I mentioned that first. I also, as per my timetable, I have meeting 1 at say 2:30. This could be my subject meeting. So I put my subject meeting here, and say meeting. This is at say 7:05. I have another meeting. I have say a PTM scheduled here at say 10. So I must mention this. Unless things are scheduled during this time, I would try and list down to-dos here. So the most high priority things should be written first. So it can be to do 1, to do 2, or urgent 1, not important 2, not important 3, and so on. I can list down these things, and then I can find time to fit it all in. Now, a lot of times in school, what happens is, apart from doing all of this, a lot of urgent things come up. So this slot I might have planned for corrections. I can write corrections here. It's possible that I did not get to do it and I spent time doing something else, maybe solve a class issue. So when I do that and I come back, I will cut this off and say class issue. So I know where this time went, right? Or maybe the next hour, I thought maybe if I wasn't able to do corrections here, maybe I could do it here. Or however, an urgent email came up and I had to reply to those emails. So, and and I realized, oh, I don't know where the time went, and I look back and I noticed what all I was doing the last hour. I noticed that I was actually writing emails, so I must mention here. So this actually helps me track what I was doing in every hour that I was spending time at my workplace. This is how I utilize my daily plan. One thing that I forgot to mention is if I have a deadline here on 22nd June, not only do I write it here, but I ensure to write it here as well on the day of 22nd June, because most times I'm not looking at this on an everyday basis, but in a hurry I'm only looking here. So 22nd June is my deadline. I must mention it here so that I don't miss it. So I say deadline plan. So this is here, but so that I don't forget, I must mention it here also, deadline a day before, so that in case I missed working on it, or if there was something that needed to be done before, I don't miss it at all. Now at the end of the month, which is beautiful, I also have a monthly review page. Now at the end, like it helps to plan the month, it also helps a lot to review and reflect upon how the month went, so that you can do better in the next month. Organization is a skill, which means you can get better at it through practice. For some people it's a piece of cake, they are impeccable at their work, but for others, especially if you're like me, you really need to work on this skill to hone it to become better. Even after this video of modeling out, I'm sure that you will have to do your own research. You'll have to figure out a process for yourself through multiple trials and testing, and find a way for yourself. I'm sure many of you are already in the process of looking for planners. There are many planners available in the market today for people with different needs. So once you know your process, it will be easier for you to figure out which planner fits best for you. For me, this is the one that works best. It is the planner by Confetti Paper Studio. I'm a repeat buyer for them. I'm sure I'm going to use this planner again for the next year. So this is the planner that I bought from them the first year. Yeah, they also are customizable. You can get your names printed in them. See that? And this is the one that I have been currently using this year. My name here again. And before that, I have also gone through these diaries. So you see how it is a process. So I am wishing you the best to find out your own process. Wishing you a very happy Christmas and a wonderful new year. I wish you receive all the happiness, love and success and everything that you desire for in the coming year. Thank you so much for your time. I hope this bonus video was worth it.